Hey YouTube. Now this is a hypothetical, of course, but if, and big if, but if I do ask Hatsune Miku to marry me, are you coming to the wedding? I need to know how much catering I'm gonna need. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another legacy video, and today, all the way from the Lübeck MTG community in Germany, has sent me a tier 3 donation deck list with the challenge of build a wedding deck. And they said, something with rings, something with a wedding theme, something like that. And there's not that many cards that actually have wedding in the name. And the Wedding of River song was one of the more interesting ones that I came across. And then I remembered that the Doctor Who stuff isn't online, so we had to get rid of that idea. And my mind started to kind of go to weird places, and I actually ended up in Pauper for the inspiration for this video, believe it or not. So when I was told to build a wedding deck, my mind immediately went to Wedding Invitation and the One Ring as the two cards that I was going to build around. There was a little while where I thought about the soul bond mechanic because that was very thematically on track, but I couldn't figure out. Okay, let me just throw one of those cards on the screen. So the soul bond ability was a neat mechanic where you can partner with a creature when this creature enters the battlefield or another creature enters the battlefield. And you can only soul bond with one thing, until one of those things leaves the battlefield, then you can soul bond with another one. And I started doing some brewing around this and then realized this stuff is not going to work well with Wedding Invitation or the One Ring. And I kind of started drifting down this affinity idea. So Wedding Invitation sees some play in Pauper as an artifact that just cantrips when it hits the battlefield. That's fine. This is a little slow by legacy standards, but it also just gives the ability to turn your creature unblockable. Which, if we are making large creatures for some reason, because I don't know, maybe they have power and toughness equal to the number of artifacts I control and I'm an artifact-themed deck, then the Wedding Invitation does some good. And the One Ring is totally fine when it's in a deck with Ancient Tomb and a bunch of cheap things that it can deploy. And right before I ordered the cards to play this video, a realization came to me that Esperzoa might not be a meme here, because Esperzoa repeatedly sending your wedding invitations as a card draw engine is legit. Esperzoa picking up a Frogmite, recasting a Frogmite for free, and triggering your Simulacrum synthesizer does not feel like a meme. Esperzoa giving you one ring fog every turn as you repeatedly get married. There might be something here. I might be getting lost in the sauce, and I have just become a deranged man as I brewed this deck list. But it doesn't seem bad. I had another build that was going to use some Grim Monoliths and Manifold Keys to have a little bit more. I wanted a few more artifacts. When I played another version with Thought Monitors and the Salamander, the 7-mana Affinity Salamander, that got banned in Pauper, whatever its name is, I'm totally bricking on it. The Mirror Enforcer type thing. I realized that a lot of times I just didn't have enough artifacts to deploy these things, and sometimes my Mox Opals weren't on. So I think this is going to give me a somewhat balanced game with an asterisk there. I'm kind of just giving up game 1 versus combo to fit in the sort of thematic elements of this deck list. And the vast majority of the entire sideboard is ways to adjust versus combo, because I'm hoping that I'll just bury fair stuff with what I am doing here. It's possible Chalice of the Void is important to protect this whole Esperzoa, Patchwork, Automaton side of the deck, but hopefully I can just bury my opponent by going wide rather than just focusing on one creature all the time. And once I have a couple of larger creatures, the ability to just push them through, orc tokens or whatever seems like a big deal. So we are going to see how Wedding Affinity ends up doing. I feel good about this going in. We'll see if I just lose my mind as I just die to 5 combo decks in a row. And should you need your jellyfish or your wedding invitations, TOAmagic.com is a great place to shop. You get free shipping. That's like pretty close to good enough reason to just order from them already, but they have 95% of standard in stock at any given time and have a bunch of really great old cards like dual lands as well. Hey, Silverblade Paladin, you're not the star of the show. Get off the screen. Let's battle. So this video goes out to everyone who might be getting married in the distant future, maybe even this summer. Best of luck with you and all of your relationship things. I hope you find somebody great. Opponent's going to 5. We are keeping YOLO One Ring .hand, which I don't think is bad because, like, it's YOLO One Ring into Urza Saga. Does deal an exceptional amount of damage to me, though. Opponent did keep on 5. Are you a second main phase hipster, or are you passing the turn? You are a second main phase hipster. Batterskull Smashing. Jeska's Will. Are you just gonna Elemental Eruption me? Oh, fuck. Well, okay. That's happening. My hand is much worse. My opponent has 3 mana in play already. 3 persistent mana, 2 floating mana. This is fucking bad, folks. Yeah, we might get turn 1 from a Mold of 5. Wow. Oh no, they're still going. Alright, Bergie, we are not getting married. Not me and you. You're not the One Ring. I'm just fucking dead? No! This is crack LED into tendrils. Yeah, there's the black. I fucking died on turn 1 from a Mold of 5. Yeah, there's tendrils. Okay. We move on. Chalice on 0 is great. Trinisphere is great. This one not so much. Dismember is okay. Leyline can do some things versus an Echo of Eons. So it's more what is unnecessary. Thought Monitor's pretty slow. We can probably ditch that. Aether Spellbomb is very slow. Pithing Needle has some text, but is not as good as the other stuff that I'm going to be bringing in. Wedding Invitation is cuttable. So that gets me these 8. And then I start thinking, like, do I want Dismembers for Bergie? Do I want Leyline of the Void for Echo of Eons? Trinisphere triggers Simulacrum Synthesizer. I think I'm okay on that route. I don't think I want the lifelink. Do I want these? I'm just kind of assuming that my opponent is mono red with Echo. I think I want them. Go down 1 Esperzoa. This is a game the lock pieces win. So Island, Bauble, Chalice on 0. Turn 2. Play Urza Saga. I can play a Frogmite, or I can work towards this. This has a piece of interaction. The rest of the hand is pretty mid. I think I can do better. Ha! It's better if Leyline matters. I think between Draw Step and Urza's Bauble redraw, I am pretty likely to do something that matters. This hand also, not 100%, but largely invalidates a Jeska's Will, because I am just going to have 1 card in hand. So Jeska's Will in the mode of mana is not live. You don't want to spend 3 mana to make 1 mana. That's not great. And we'll hold off on cracking the Bauble until my opponent's turn. That way, if they do a draw 7, I just get to reload. So the first hand that I looked at had stronger disruption in the form of Chalice on 0, but this hand has a real threat in a way that is meaningful. Wheel of Misfortune. Excuse me? The next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. You gain life equal to the damage prevented this way. Oh. Chalice on 0 apparently much better than I thought. So my opponent can just choose a number bigger than what I can possibly choose. Like, they can just pick 20, and then I am always the lowest. I can't bid that. Okay, so I bid 0. How many wheels is this deck playing then? Oh my god, they can just pick a number above their life total. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, no, that's how that works. Okay. Sure. I'm not dead. That's great. There are some problems with the current board state. There's a free forces all over there. Okay, cool. Cool. No, that's fine. That's fine. Patchwork Automaton is going to have a little bit of work to do. I legitimately don't think I concede. Assuming that this game, that I find a lock piece to kind of actually slow my opponent down. Oh, I guess there is this side of it. My opponent does actually have to pay for the intervention pack since they did not actually win the game that turn. And the stuff that they've used is just gone forever. So there's a couple Burning Wishes that are just in exile. So, I don't know. I've got a chance. Ooh. The One Ring is quite good here. So let's cast that. This gives me another turn. Draw my card. It's a Leyline. The reason I draw now is to see if I can cast an extra thing for Patchwork Automaton. Every point of damage matters right now. I think I outdamage my One Ring. I didn't really think about like the One Ring in the context of my opponent has 106 life. Notably here, my Ancient Tomb does not damage me, which is why I paid using Lotus Petal on my own turn. Lose some life. I don't want more ley lines. Let's activate, I think like this. Get Lava Spur Boots. Activate the One Ring. I'll cast some things to scale up my critters. Boots, equip on this construct token. Cast Mox Opal for 1 more damage. Keep the untapped one. Crash in for 22. Damage is ramping up fast. Ooh, opponent has Urza Saga of their own. Oh, am I getting stormed now? Feels like I am getting stormed now, folks. Burning Wish. 7 mana. Pier 7. Pier is 7. My opponent is going to get half of their library here. My opponent has used, I think, 3 of 4 copies of Burning Wish, though. So if the Burning Wish is if that last Burning Wish is really far down into the deck, maybe there's a chance for me. But I think I am just going to go ahead and do this, and then F6, and we see what happens. I don't even have lethal after my opponent pays half of their life, which is weird. All right, after a couple of pieces of ritual and artifact mana, we have a gamble. And we do see an Echo of Eons underneath the Chrome Mox, by the way. My opponent discarded a Rite of Flame. Multiple Spirit Guides here. New gamble. 1 in 20 shot at discarding Burning Wish. My opponent has discarded a Wheel of Misfortune, which I imagine is not the card that they just tutored for, given their life total. And number of cards in hand, frankly. You may absolutely surgically extract here. Another gamble. Opponent gets rid of a Runehorn Hellkite, which I think is the, like, pay for it with 2 LEDs, draw 7 sort of thing. Burning Wish. Grape Shot is not currently lethal. That is a non-lethal Grape Shot. However, I have the One Ring, don't I? Yeah, I need 1 more life to get another turn. So I can draw a card with Urza's Bauble here. Damn. I'm taking 2. Let's see if I can draw my way out of this. It's not an Otawara. Yeah, that does it. Damn. Like after this turn, I had like Esperzoa, the One Ring, soft lock. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and honestly, they're just the best at what they do. If you need to keep your deck lists online, this is the way to do it. They have all sorts of different viewing options. You can condense that text if you like things to be tight. You can make them visual grids. You can put them in stacks. You've got all sorts of different ways to kind of view and visualize your deck lists. And they also have some really cool functionality, like allowing you to see playtest hands and even fully playtest your decks. So check them out. All right, Opal, Lotus Petal, have 1 mana. No. Okay, Urza Saga, Lotus Petal, play Patchwork, play Lotus Petal, trigger Patchwork, control 2 artifacts, and the player draw. I'm on the draw. I think I say no. I think there's a lot of Ancient Tomb hands that are just better than this one. Okay, so Ancient Tomb, Patchwork, definitely Urza Saga. Sorry, I have to sequence this one out. So on turn 2, I have 3 mana. I use 1 of it to play Lava Spur Boots. At that point, I have 3 mana and 2 artifacts. I use 2 mana to play Frogmite and equip Frogmite with Boots. That's fine. The only question is it better to play Pithing Needle or Wasteland? I think the answer is no, because then that means that I'm not playing my cards as quickly as possible, which I think is a thing that I want to do with this hand. Like, we are very clearly the beatdown here. Ooh. We'll take it. Might see like an end of turn surveil land here. We'll start trying to deduce what my opponent is playing based on those colors. Got green-black vibes. Negative. Just fetch, drop, no action taken. That feels weird. You have beans. Alright. Ooh. Don't mind that. So let's start scaling up here. A first Frogmite that I cast currently costs 2 mana. The next one costs 1, which means it's effectively free next turn. I can get 1 more damage in right now by doing this, but I also get 1 more damage in right now while doing this, and this also ups my artifact count. This line feels better. We probably have a reasonable long game versus Beans. I'm actually just most afraid of losing this Urza. Oh, fucking blind Triumph of St. Catherine. Absolutely fuck me. That's a 5/5 lifelinker draw card that's going to keep coming back. Alright. Understood. Oh, and you've got more? Sure. Stifle? Alright. So this now just taps for mana, folks. So, turn's going to be a little different than how I imagined it. If there is a follow-up counterspell beyond this, I think I just throw my hands up in the air and say, what do you want me to fucking do? What do you want me to fucking do? So this is a 5/5. I can make it into a 6/6 and attack. If I do, I eat the crackback on this. But if my opponent attacks, then I actually crack back for a larger amount. Oh, right. I should have cast this while I controlled Lotus Petal, in case the One Ring did not resolve. That is an objective error on my part. Now I can't reasonably attack with this. Yeah, I do not want to offer that trade. Oh, that sucks. Cantrips are fine. That's not great. That's almost certainly the wrong target. You take out the Ancient Tomb, this land is about to disappear. You leave me with 0 ability to cast spells. Oh, sure. No, that's fine. I am just going to concede. That was incredibly unfortunate, literal miracle for my opponents. I could see wanting to play Trinisphere here, but I don't know that I want to board anything out. Like, Wedding Invitation as a way to get through large Murktide regions and Triumph of St. Catherine, non-ironically, seems pretty good. My opponent is on 5 cards here. My hand is perfectly reasonable. Unless something changes off this draw, I am probably looking at turn 2 Synthesizer into turn 3 Urza Saga. Wasteland's fine. Like, hitting the Ancient Tomb is very actively good, but ooh, yeah. I don't think it's the end of the world here. So this gives me the 2 mana to Patchwork Automaton. Then we'll start playing Synthesizers out. I don't want to play Frogmite prior to casting Synthesizer. Again, cantrips, totally fine. That's allowed. This initial mana trigger is not getting stifled. Hopefully my opponent does not have a counterspell here. If they don't, this is a rough spot for them. I'm gonna say no. I'm just going to say no. Now I will Frogmite for free, which triggers this. And all of a sudden, our deck is incredibly scary. I don't think I'm going to quite present lethal next turn or anything, but I'm already at 12 of the 17. A Null Rod sort of effect isn't going to be enough to do it. I will just beat my opponent to death with this stuff that's already in play. I guess you can put a Terminus on top of your library. No immediate Force of Vigor or anything. So I have 7, 10, 11, 12. Casting this makes it 13. Activating Urza Saga makes it 14. I think I just hold up Urza Saga and hit my opponent for this much. Leave them at 4. And then if Terminus is their top card, I just keep some amount of leftover damage. Sure, that's fine. I keep some amount of leftover power on board, is the tail end of that thought. Yeah, I think I'm just going to activate Urza Saga. Okay, it is a Triumph. So I'm going to respond by activating Urza Saga. That way that can't be stifled. Is fine. Esperzoa is real cool if this ends up going long. So let's keep generating my value here. Pick up Aether Spellbomb. Cast Mox Opal. Mox Opal now needs to be countered. That'll do. I forgot about Aether Spellbomb until I got into the deck, otherwise I could have played this turn better. Do I want to use my Wedding Invitation to deal 8? My opponent blocks, they go up to 16. If they board wipe after that, it's awkward. Yeah, I think I'm just going to use this here. Deal 8. Yeah, I think I just have this one much more easily if I don't make the second construct token. I think I've still probably got this one, but weird stuff can happen. Murktide's fine. Okay, opponent is not making me play it out here, which is fine. The Synthesizer would start to drown my opponent as well. Deck's perfect, no changes. Okay, I don't quite have a perfect opening hand here. I will be vulnerable to Wasteland on this Ancient Tomb. I have an initial kind of turn 1 cantrip into turn 2 the One Ring. I don't think I throw that back. I might not Wedding Invitation turn 1. Like, it's possible I will end up just using a Pithing Needle on Wasteland just so that never happens. Ancient Tomb, Wedding Invitation, Lotus Petal, Mox Opal, Pithing Needle. I'm in? Please come to my wedding. There will be punch and pie. Thought Monitor's fine. Full Opal. I do know that my opponent's deck is playing Daze, but, you know. Oh? Is that a fetch? To just not get that needled? Or am I going to get dazed? I'm not. We are shutting off Wasteland, so any lands that I have are now safe for the rest of the game. I have 4 artifacts in play already for the sake of Thought Monitor. And we're playing Draw Go. Probably favors me. Esperzoa is sweet. We're going to cast our first One Ring around a Daze. Opponent does not like that. If the One Ring resolves, I can Thought Monitor this turn. Ah, damn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So let's do this. Do I care about this Mox Opal? Not that much, given that I have the One Ring. So let's just keep this Lotus Petal around. I will Thought Monitor for 1 mana. Playing around Daze. At this point, I think I'm happy if my opponent picks up a land. So, my opponent does pick up a land. Yeah, that's fine. Like, I have the One Ring going. I am about to have Urza Saga. I have a creature in play. Life's pretty good. So that land comes back. I lose a little life. Let's sculpt this turn. Frogmite, another copy of the One Ring. I'm going to attack for 2 and then go from there. 16. Yeah. 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 So I have 8 power in play. I have the ability to bounce a blocker out of play. I have a draw engine in play. I can reset that draw engine. I can do a draw 2 every turn. Opponent says no. Very understandable. So this can set up a miracle, which I am equipped to combat. but it may end up costing me an Urza Saga activation, depending on how exactly things play out. I lose a little life. It's not that big of a deal. I have Stifles to think about, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just draw now. Very good. Very, very good. So let's go Yaw. 3, 1, 2. I think I attack now. Just leave up Otawara, because Brainstorm into Triumph is a thing that can happen. It is not happening. So let's play the Synthesizer. Artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. Well, that's awfully rude. So this could be trying to set up a Phyrexian Dreadnought. I missed the Scry 2 on this. I don't know that I'm going to miss that. I think I'm just going to hold up both Otawara and Urza's Saga activation here. And then my opponent needs to have a big turn. My opponent's fetching has felt a little strange to me because the Brainstorm already had cleared. Seeds of Innocence. That's annoying. That's going to destroy a lot of my stuff. I'm thinking about whether or not I need to Otawara this out of play to win with Synthesizer. And these One Rings, I think I just try to kill my opponent with Urza Saga tokens. I have a lot of life, and I have a small Construct token that is about to get a lot bigger. Ooh. I had allotted for having 2 Urza Saga Construct tokens when I made the decision not to bounce that out of play. I can just draw a ton of cards with this One Ring, though. Like, I don't mind. Okay. This is on cast. I'm just going to kill my opponent. So, pay 2 life, do Patchwork, do Lotus Petal, start scaling this up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Frogmite is free. We'll go ahead and cast that. I have 2 mana. That doesn't do any of this. I have already played my land. Yeah, I am perfectly fine crashing in for 5. And I do have an emergency Otawara for if a Murktide or equivalently sized creature gets into play. Yeah. Leyline Binding. Take out the One Ring so I don't draw 5. Be a shame if that just happened again. Opponent has 1 card left. Wedding Invitation, you say? If I Otawara that creature out of play, it has flash. It can just come back. I'm just going to play this as a land. So it feels like I do this. So as long as I cast 1 more spell, emphasis on cast here, Patchwork Automaton goes to a 5-power creature. My Patchwork Automaton is now unblockable and cannot be removed due to ward. Seems like that does it to me. That was amazing. That was so much fun. We getting married to this jellyfish. Okay, how does this hand work? So I don't exactly do anything. I can play 3 artifacts on turn 1 and produce a Frogmite. I guess it's turn 2 Synthesizer, like bam, bam. Use Lotus Petal, Synthesizer. 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts in play immediately. Maybe it does do something. It's just a little weird and fragile. We've got another control matchup. I'm not the most worried about. I don't think I need to play anything out beyond that on turn 1. I think the rest can wait, given what I'm seeing here. All right, Bant control, very much confirmed. Opponent has beans going. Oh, I'm so happy for that draw. Because Synthesizer is my up the beanstalk. Like, these are similar cards. Yep. I'm going to play Bauble and crack a Bauble with the hopes of getting my next land drop so that I can just do this again. Fuck, my opponent's got Wasteland. No. Oh, that's so sad. That also kind of makes me wish that I had Frogmited, but I want to Frogmite after Simulacrum Synthesizer is in play, because then it's worth an Urza Saga Construct token, which matters a lot. Fantastic, opponent does not Wasteland me. We're still in it. Oh, there's an Uro. I wonder what Uro's gonna put in. Fuck. I think I'm still okay if I draw a land, but if I don't, Life is real bad. I control 2 artifacts. This costs 2 mana. I have no castable spells. I am not going to crack Spellbomb immediately. I will crack it if this is targeted with another Wasteland. But I think I need the artifacts in play. I have 3 cards in hand with affinity for artifacts, so every artifact that I take out of play right now is rough. I also might need to just Spellbomb the Uro back to my opponent's hand if they just go for it immediately. It's not what I want to do, but I am not beating the 6/6 that sits in play and draws my opponent a card every turn. We are getting bodied here. Alright, well, it's a castable card. That's the good news. The bad news is my opponent can keep accruing card advantage with Uro. I'm not pressuring them, so they are free to spend their time casting more up the beanstalks, more cantrips. I'm going to concede to that. That's enough. That's enough. Ooh. That was rough. That's exactly the sort of thing that my opponent needs to do if they want to beat me. Shadow Spear is probably mid for the most part. The life gain can be relevant with the One Ring. I could Soul Guide Lantern to help out with Uro. Let's go down a Wedding Invitation for that. I don't think I'm going to make any other swaps. Like Wedding Invitation, assuming my opponent is also playing Triumph of St. Catherine, which is not 100% true, but is somewhat likely. Being able to push the last bit of damage through that lifelink is legitimately good. Like, I am not embarrassed by Wedding Invitation. That does not have stable mana. Oh no, not like this. Okay. I'm going to put back Island, knowing that if we get Null Rotted or the green card that was played against us last game, it is going to be a disaster. But I think the artifact count is going to matter a lot for some of my top decks here. Yeah, you got it. Okay. So 2 artifacts. Frogmite costs 2 mana. We don't have that. Patchwork's not scaling up. Life is bad. Opponent's Wasteland, incredibly good there to keep this from hitting play. And then just I immediately Frogmite. Spellbomb. Alright. So I cast this. Patchwork scales up. Now, Frogmite's free. I think I'm just attacking for 2, holding up Spellbomb. If there's no creature in play at the end of my opponent's turn, I cycle Spellbomb and try to hit the next land drop to do this into Frogmite immediately. Brainstorm could put a Terminus on top to take care of my Patchwork. It could put a Triumph 2 down. No, sorry. Draw a card. Draw a card. Alright. I do not regret keeping double seat. I said what I said, and I still mean that, but, you know, that is the downside. I don't think I'm out of this game yet. I'm going to need another blue source to stay in this game, but I have a plan still. Synthesizer plus Frogmite, kind of get that chain going, grind that value. Thought Monitor is not good here. We'll take our chip damage. I am down 2 cards from my mulligan, and my opponent sinkholed me twice. Life's bad. Alright, I'm losing Patchwork. This is a pretty critical draw step. I really need a blue land right now. I do not get it. So my opponent now has all the time in the world. They are under 0 pressure. I think a Wasteland just beats me on the spot. Okay, they can surveil a card off the top that they just put back via Brainstorm. It's Uro. Okay. Redraw. I don't even get my redraw. How dare you? How dare you? So now Simulacrum Synthesizer is shut off. I think it takes me another 10 minutes to lose, but I think this one is over. Alright, I don't have any lands in this opening hand. That one's no good. It's a keep. I think I'm getting rid of this bauble. Let's just play basic island this turn. I can't get wastelanded. I'm going to play this out in case something like a Chalice on 0 were to happen. Lots of blue out there today. I hate that this is going to be dazable. Do I have a choice? If I play Esperzoa first, it just gets bolted after I bounce one of my artifacts back to my hand. I think I'm going to play it assuming that it does not resolve. I think that is my attitude. Just between Daze, Force of Will, potentially Force of Negation, I just don't think this is resolving. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and just feed this and then intend on shifting to an Urza Saga-based plan. I think I lose the game on the spot to Wasteland. Opponent junks a Delver, presumably just trying to get that extra creature type in there so that they can attack me for 3 on this turn. Sorcery like a Ponder will do it, a Bauble will do it. Fuck, okay. We have lost game 1, I think. I don't immediately eat 3 damage. Okay. Alright. So you're telling me there's a chance. Not taking 3 that turn and then having another Urza Saga off the top was real good. Alright, there's that last card type. And now Thundering Falls can take a card off the top of the library. Opponent got rid of a Bolt, despite the fact that that could keep Urza's Saga tokens in check. And turn kind of plays itself from here. Another Wasteland is pretty rough. I'm at 13 after this hit. We've got green, potentially for Seek the Beast and the Dryad. So I'm always doing this. These are 3/3s. They are going to be 4/4s and are outside of range of Lightning Bolt once this next trigger resolves. So if my opponent has any more Lightning Bolts, this is their moment to use them. And they do. So I have a handful of choices. I am going to just keep making bigger and bigger construct tokens. This is a 3/3. This is boltable. If I play Seat, it is no longer boltable. I think I have to leave this one as boltable. Hope my opponent does not have another Lightning Bolt effect. My opponent got rid of a Chain Lightning. I think I'm just going to do this one and call it a turn and be threatening more Urza Saga tokens and Shadow Spear equips. Okay, yeah, there is Seek the Beast. And they like it. It's Wasteland. The Nightmare World is Wasteland, Urza Saga, Lightning Bolt Construct token, play Murktide Regent. That would be the literal worst. This is just regular bad. I'm going to take 3, which is fine. And my opponent can draw their card. Cool. So 1, 2, 3, I control 4 artifacts. I think I just start gaining life immediately. At this point, it's kind of hard to take this creature out of play. So my opponent needs to just generate a Questing Druid or a Murktide Regent that's bigger, or potentially Brazen Borrower it out of play. And it is very possible to do those things. But gaining 5 life per turn cycle does a lot at decreasing my ability to just outright die. They found a card they like. They are going to get to redraw it off of Bauble. And they are staying aggressive. So I'm not sure exactly what my opponent wanted to draw there. I know that's great for me. How many dazes have I seen? Okay. This currently costs 3, so this is castable and is one of my better plays if it resolves. I might need to just play it. My situation is not particularly great here. Yeah, there is a daze. I don't want to wait on Thought Monitor, because if I draw another land, getting the 1 ring into play is a really big deal, or fogging this much damage while getting another Shadow Spear swing. I'm going to crash in with this. Block plus a Lightning Bolt could get rid of my creature. And it is a Lightning Bolt. So now my opponent has 2 creatures in play to my 0 creatures. If I miss my next land drop, I'm probably dead. Yeah, okay, I can draw an Ancient Tomb still to deploy the 1 ring. This is 7 damage, which is likely lethal next turn. Casting any other spell does it. Yeah, I can play Patchwork Automaton and like start running into chump block mode, don't think I win from here, especially when my opponent still has cards in hand, unfortunately. So, do I want lock pieces? Chalice of the Void is probably stronger than Wedding Invitation in this matchup. So let's make that swap. Dismembers, Leylines, Soul Guide Lanterns are okay. Let's evaluate the One Ring. So upsides is that it's a massive fog. It is card advantage. The life loss over time is relevant. Esperzoa feels awkward. Esperzoa One Ring is a very hilarious way to win. I wish I just had 17 Pithing Needles so that my Urza Sagas were never going to die. Esperzoa dying to Lightning Bolt is incredibly awkward. I think when I'm on the play, this is not unreasonable. I am not going to play Trinisphere when I'm on the draw. I will probably fill with these 3 cards if I were to guess. This is a keep. I'm going to play out Patchwork Automaton first. That is my more aggressive line. We're going to do this and hope that it resolves, at which point I get to play out a couple of baubles. Yaw and yaw. I could Chalice on 0 to immediately Frogmite. I don't think I am going to do that. I think I'm going to assume that I can probably cast Frogmite in the next turn or two and just take these redraws immediately. I think hitting the next land drop to naturally play things around Daze is very good. I have Chalice of the Void for if I miss the land drop, which I did. I still have one more actual factual draw step, though. Sure. Land drop's so important because it changes this card a lot. Okay. Yes. Now what the fuck do I do? I think I start on Shadow Spear. Alright, it gets Force of Willed. Now what? I can play the highly impactful Trinisphere that is Dazeable. I can play the pretty good Chalice of the Void, but if I Chalice of the Void, the Trinisphere gets much worse, because I don't necessarily want to take 4 to play my next lock piece. I think I'm playing Dazeable Trinisphere. Alright, it's in play. I get the first attack here, which is a really big deal. And I just hope that I out-aggro my opponent. It's probably hard for them to put cards into graveyard. Yeah, they are even going to potentially just chump block this turn. How much do you cost? You cost 5. You're uncounterable. You're probably my spell this turn. You're not going to eat a Meltdown. Thanks, this is 6/6. This costs too much mana. Attack for 6. Alright, my opponent concedes. I do not want these Trinispheres when I'm on the draw. They are too risky. I've got Soul Guide Lantern, Dismembers, and Leylines that I can be thinking about. Dismember, Soul Guide Lantern is the easy in-out. I could play Leyline. Would not mulligan for Leyline. Every card like Leyline makes it harder for me to get Metalcraft for Mox Opal. Doesn't trigger Synthesizer. I think Chalice is better than Leyline. I could not play the One Ring. The One Ring is pretty slow on the draw. If I don't play the One Ring, I can board like this and become a slightly more reactive deck that is expecting to grind. Don't have nearly as many things that trigger Simulacrum Synthesizer, though. Given that, I think I'm going to keep these. Oh, this is perfectly fine. Daze is pretty good against me. Wasteland's not scary. You've got your initial creature. Leyline would not have been good against this anyway if I boarded in Leyline. Ooh, yeah. So Daze into Wasteland is, I think, my opponent's dream here. Nice. No. So if I draw Frogmite, I have, what? 1, 2, theoretically 3 artifacts. I think I'm just going to take the immediate redraw. Oh god, opponent has another Delver. I am scared all of a sudden. Alright. Delver not flipping is very good. That means I take 0 damage this turn. So Ponder into non-fetch land, play Delver, flip both Delvers is horrifying. Uh-huh. No, it's happening. Okay. That can kill one. I will certainly at least take 4 points of damage from the Delver. That will be worth casting. Alright. I'm assuming that these Delvers are flipping. 18. Ow. Please don't force. I'm dead in 2 turns if this gets countered. Cool. So the pause there, though, like makes me think that my opponent has a counterspell, which is like really not the best for me, given that I want to just shove a 4-drop next turn. Ugh. Oh, no. Okay. Well. Okay. Okay. This is not the best Patchwork Automaton, but things are going all right. 16. We attempt to kill a Delver. Again, not entirely convinced that this is actually going to happen. I think my opponent has a counterspell, and it's just a question of, like, what is it? Ooh, hot damn. It worked. Please. Please. Although, honestly, it's a little scary to play out the One Ring from 7 life when I just have a 2/2 in play. I may not have a choice. If I tap Ancient Tomb, I die to Murktide Regent. You cost 4. I can play Thought Monitor and attempt to block Murktide Regent. I'll die to a Lightning Bolt. I think it is better to play the One Ring. I think I'm losing to a lot of different stuff here. But Thought Monitor gets cheaper next turn. The One Ring never gets cheaper. That daze does me in. I am at 5 GG. Did not quite get the engine going. All right, what are we working with here? Seat, Bauble, Mox Opal, Metalcraft is on. Have nothing to do with it. Alternatively, Urza Saga, Bauble, Opal, turn 2, Seat. Everything is on. Just start making Urza Saga. Like, this is just an aggro hand. Okay. It's not the best. Guess I play out cards just in case there is some sort of chalice type effect. I think it's more likely. I feel like this opponent was a show and tell player. I recognize the name. I'm not going to bother to look it up. Like, my hand does one thing. My hand is very linear. You make cantrip. All right, they like what they see with the Ponder. That's awkward. That's incredibly awkward, in fact. I was planning on pulling that out of my deck. Since I have seen Stifle today, I'm going to go ahead and make this creature at sorcery speed. I guess I could get a Lotus Petal out of deck and go for an attack this turn. All right, so opponent fetched around Pithing Needle. I think I will Lotus Petal, play a new Urza Saga, Lava Spur Boots. This is worth a lot of damage. All right, it's in play. We will attempt the equip. 13 of your 19 life. Here we come. Okay, this does feel like a Omniscience deck. Let's see who's dead. Is it me or is it you? I feel like it's probably me. Oh, maybe not me. Okay. I am just going to attack with 3 different creatures here. So activate, whip over here, death. Game 1 Echoing Truth? Are you fucking kidding me? All right. I guess. The One Ring. Okay, sure. You've got it. Okay. Yeah. Do some searching. Pick up a Pithing Needle. Name the One Ring, by the fact that I also have it. Put Ancient Tomb into play. I have Ancient Tomb activate Urza Saga again. This is a clock for my opponent as well. If they do resolve a show and tell, I have a One Ring that gives me protection from everything until my next turn. You've got mana. Yes, I can play more copies of the One Ring to stay alive. Sure. These ones don't draw cards. Make my friends. At this point, my friends are just lethal. Do I want to crack this? I still could need to attack through some larger creatures. I don't think I want to crack it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Thought Monitor costs 1. That's this. I activate this. I still have a couple mana. I think I will Ancient Tomb. That leaves me at 16. 15 is kind of the big number here. We will put an Aether Spellbomb into play as an additional layer of protection. Cast Thought Monitor. Draw some cards. The Synthesizer is fine. With Spellbomb in play, I don't think I need to continue to hold Otawara in hand. I will just play that. Cast a Shadow Spear. Call it a turn while holding up this spell bomb. Can't kill my opponent because of the One Ring trigger. I'm gonna hold Frogmite until Simulacrum Synthesizer. For if something gets weird, I can also just like get haste anyway. I'm very happy that we did not lose to Echoing Truth in game 1. So I have some mediocre sideboard cards that I can play. Chalice is not super potent. It shuts off some stuff. I usually don't need to force creatures through, usually. Wedding Invitation can become either Chalice or Trinisphere. I potentially need to just play both, even though they're mid. Shadowspear can go. That leaves me with 3 cuts. Esperzoa, the One Ring, is sweet. Although maybe it just gets disrupted by Emrakul. Man, do I have to cut the cute thing? Yeah, I think I have to cut the cute thing. I'm not happy about it. The other stuff makes more sense. This is a pretty mid opening hand. Like, I have Chalice and Trinisphere, but if I play out both, I am doing so in a way that is incredibly awkward with Urza Saga and losing lands. And if I lose these lands while I have Trinisphere in play, that's pretty bad. An Ancient Tomb hand is much stronger than that hand. All right, Seat into Mox Opal. I do not have Metalcraft. I do not have 2 mana to cast Chalice. Frog might cost 2 mana. No, 5. Oh my god, this is awful. 4. 3. Ancient Tomb Urza Saga. Fuck me. Ancient Tomb Urza's Saga. No. I will keep 2 of these. Not you, it's not you, it's not you. I think I'm just keeping Island, and hoping to run hot off the top. What if I keep Island Trinisphere and hope to spike Soul Land? That's actually probably how I could I should not say reasonably, how I could, like, possibly win. But, pretty sure we're just dead. That was just a rather abysmal set of hands, and that's gonna happen sometimes. I'm a genius. This is now the best hand of all the ones that we looked at. Okay. Now, Trinisphere does not stop Show and Tell. Just very important factoid. If my opponent just goes 3rd land Show and Tell, like, they got us. Okay. I mean, that's obviously very good. I'm not checking that right now. And my opponent has some time to pull ahead. But my win condition's in play, right? They'll kill themselves with the One Ring before they beat me, right? No. No, I don't think they will. Alright. I'm going to do it. I just hate it. What do we see? Misty Rainforest. Cool. Opponent gets 2 more cards here. Can draw 3 more on their own turn. My days are numbered. Oh, sure. Is that the 6 mana thing? That is the 6 mana thing. Sure. That potentially means that my opponent has Show and Tell and Omniscience already, and is looking for a way to bounce my Trinisphere out of play so that once they do their thing, they can just actually kill me before I get another turn. 12 cards in hand casually. NBD. Oh. I thought I was just gonna die. It's a shuffle even. Now there can just be another spell here. No? Okay. Draw Chalice, cast Chalice on 3. Opponent has no counter spells in their remaining 7 cards. Would be cool. Veil of Summers for Chalice of the Void. And I don't have a lot of agency here. Opponent loses some more life. How am I still alive? How is it that my opponent has to think after drawing these many cards? What happened over there? What is in hand? Alright. Here comes my death. I'll put in another Urza Saga. My opponent gets a gross spell here. Like, they can fetch, bounce my thingy out of play if they want, and then I die. Okay, so there we go. My Trinisphere gets bounced to my hand. There's a Cunning Wish. That is going to get something that tutors for an Emrakul, and I'm going to die. Yeah, Shared Summons gets Emrakul plus 1 other creature, and that's that. Or I can just get 2 Emrakuls. It's whatever. Yeah, Emrakul Atraxa. That'll do. I will concede. We'll go to another game. Don't think I have much in terms of how I can choose to sideboard. I think I have to keep the Wedding Invitations out, even though I have now seen Atraxa. This is turn 2, the One Ring, if I want it. I could do turn 1, Urza Saga, turn 1, Urza Saga Boats, and Ancient Tomb. Turn 1, this, turn 2, this, make thing, activate, attack immediately, and this. This is probably fine, even though it doesn't have lock pieces. I just try to be that aggro hand again. It almost, well, no, I won game 1, right? Yeah, so the aggro thing worked last time. I think I'm going to count on the clunkiness of my opponent's deck and the fact that they are trying to do things like the One Ring, and just kind of hope that I can get hyper aggressive and kill my opponent. More Lotus Petal. Sure. So I will cast these. I will make a token. We've got 4 power. It's going to stay 4 power, but I lose some toughness. And we are attacking with our version of a Delver immediately. I have the One Ring for if my opponent show and tells. And I can fish out an Aether Spellbomb as an additional layer of protection as well. This is going to Goldfish very quickly. And it's just a question of how it lines up versus my opponent's hand. If we have anything along the same timeline as last game, I pretty easily win. Yes, I am also going to need to just keep echoing truth at the back of my mind. That's not Ancient Tomb, which is fantastic. So let's make a dude. We see the fetch in response, so I don't get to Pithing Needle the Misty Rainforest. Spellbomb. Seat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 artifacts as of right now. Given that, I'm going to go ahead and play Thought Monitor immediately. Play Urza's Bauble. If I move this, I get blown out harder, but I think I am going for lethal. 15 theoretical points of damage. Frustrating. I will go ahead and go through this. I know that my opponent has a Brainstorm. Trinisphere is not a bad draw. So if my opponent casts Show and Tell, I think I put in Trinisphere, because Omniscience is the big thing that they would like to put into play as of right now. So I stop that for a turn. So, now what? If I play the One Ring, I get protection from everything until my next turn. I could lose my permanence. If my opponent has an Emrakul in hand, my Spellbomb doesn't really do anything. They cast it, they get an extra turn. If I bounce it, they do that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 permanents. Yeah, I think I'm casting this. Yeah. Immediately draw a card. A new One Ring. That's probably irrelevant. Oh, fuck, that put me to 14? No, that's okay. I have protection from everything for right now. It is a Lorien Revealed. Okay. Cool. Well, we have more copies of the One Ring, that's for sure. Alright. So, my new One Ring is resolving. I will keep this one. Get protection from everything. Do this. Do I leave up Spellbomb? Or do I attack for 1 more point of damage? Might be attack for 1 more point of damage. Yeah, I think it is. It's strange that that's the case. But if I do this and my opponent goes to 6, I have a better chance of just drawing some crappy creature like a Frogmite and killing them on the next turn. Okay, that's 6 mana, so my opponent can do 2 spells. They've got their own One Ring. Now Ancient Tomb does not cost them life. Okay, cool. I have more Ancient Tomb. Got it. So I can also play 2 spells. I might just be playing 1 and holding up Spellbomb this time, though. So I will cast a new Trinisphere. Doesn't help against Echoing Truth, but it could help against some other thing, like the 6 mana Sublime Epiphany thing. Okay, it's in play. I don't know. There's also just like casting the One Ring. Like, I'm kind of anticipating end of turn Cunning Wish, get things that kill me, cast thing that kills me. Maybe in that case I just play the One Ring and I don't try to put the second Trinisphere into play. Yep. Shared Summons. One Ring damage. That land drop still means that Ancient Tomb has to be tapped if there's another spell here. Alright, there's some drawing. So this hit plus 1 ring trigger damage next turn is lethal. Ooh. That gives my opponent more time. Spirit Summon's an instant. Or yeah, I guess it must be, right? Alright, they are going for the shared summons. They can't cast anything this turn, though. Alright, Emrakul, Atraxa are in hand. So I know where next turn is going. I'm going to lose a little life. Let's find our way out of this. I cast my own copy of the One Ring, and then hold up Spellbomb is probably the answer. All the extra Ancient Tombs here are... Alright, now 1, 2, 3, 4. Cast it with that. Okay. Dueling One Rings. Isn't this fun? Is everyone enjoying themselves? Yeah. So now, this One Ring, or sorry, this Ancient Tomb is not going to hurt me, meaning that I can cast one other spell. That spell is Thought Monitor. Another flyer. You can't cast anything. Oh, sure, that's fine. Getting Mystic Sanctuary. Okay, understood. I can't cast any more spells. We'll call it a turn here. The artifact mana is pretty weak right now. We're going to discard some of that. Alright, you have an Emrakul. Mystic Sanctuary. Or Echoing Truth, maybe? Or Echoing Truth. Got it. And Atraxa. So my opponent is presumably going to junk my Thought Monitors so that I can't block. And if these Thought Monitors are out of the way, I am still going to get another turn. We'll see how this plays out. I could end up Aether Spellbombing one of my own creatures to fizzle an Echoing Truth. I'm probably sacrificing this One Ring when my opponent attacks. I'm going to draw a card with it now. So much Patchwork Automaton. All right. So let's assume that I can't get rid of both Trinispheres or I die. My opponent also could just Echoing Truth that out of play. So I get rid of like 1, 2, leave myself with a couple of lands. I don't know that I can leave myself with enough for Patchwork, equip, and attack. I'm not taking damage. I'm only losing permanence as of right now. Okay, I think I'm just eating this trigger. So Annihilator 6 happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, wait, hold on. No, okay, so I'm not auto-yielding. Yeah, so I don't need to block or anything. Life totals are not changing. So I can bounce Atraxa out of play so that I can attack in for damage. But I haven't really figured out how I beat the Echoing Truth yet. And it's potentially Echoing Truth backed by a counterspell as well. I think their objectively is probably a Force of Will. Slog has gotten messy. Sure. Sublime Epiphany. There's a lot of words on that card. Okay, so my opponent does objectively have a counterspell and bounce spell available to them. So I get 1 spell, which I think is just not enough. So I cast my 1 spell. I think this gets countered, this gets bounced, and I think we're done. Nope, okay. I mean, it can happen later, right? So I move this over, try to attack in, my stuff gets bounced. If I play the One Ring, that just gets countered instead. We put up a hell of a fight, but we are going to come up just short here. Alright, so there is the Sublime Epiphany bounce. We get to hit my opponent for 2, bring them to 2, and then I die to this attack. So incredibly close. Rather than click through this, I am going to go ahead and just concede here. So that means our Wedding Affinity deck did not do very well, but it was hella fun to play. So let's take one last look at the deck list here. For having the wedding theme, this was a functional deck, and I am happy with that. Like, we've got our rings, we've got our wedding invitations, and we have a playable legacy deck beyond that. In that regard, I give this a thumbs up. I think the deck probably needs a 19th land, or some other mana to kind of help us get out of the early game. We never lived the Esperzoa dream. Maybe I sideboarded it out too aggressively. I did not just sideboard out Wedding Invitation every round. Like, that was reasonable. It did relevant things throughout the league. And the One Ring is a powerful Magic the Gathering card, so, you know, it certainly did fine. Maybe we play, like, a Sir Ginger here, play the one Esperzoa. Maybe I don't try to go so deep on all of them. You know, it does have that, you know, potential with the One Ring loops and potential with Simulacrum Synthesizer, but maybe since it's situational, you don't want to do it. So I think I'd run this with a 19th land and maybe one Sir Ginger or one other 2-drop. The sideboard looks kind of crazy, but I felt like it was a reasonable sideboard plan. Overall, for what it is, I give this a thumbs up. Now, if we could turn our giant artifact creatures into vampires so they're also lifelinkers, that would be even cooler, but maybe that one's a pipe dream. All right, folks, I've recorded 2 legs today, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a day here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and if you need Magic cards, you know where to go. Promo code ThrabenU to save a bit on your order. See ya!